Hello and welcome back to Kim Reads as we continue with Kit's Surprise Chapter 2, The Bright Red Dress. That night, after the last dinner dish was washed and dried, Mother took off her apron, put on her hat and coat, and went out. She didn't say where she was going, but Kit knew. Mother had a rich old relative named Uncle Hendrick who lived in a big, gloomy house near downtown Cincinnati. Kit knew Mother was going to ask Uncle Hendrick for money so they wouldn't be evicted from their house. Kit was ringing bed when Mother returned. When she came up to kiss Kit goodnight, Mother's face was tired. "Uncle Hendrick said no, didn't he?" said Kit. Mother was surprised. "How did..." began. "I heard Mr. Smithens talking to you and Dad," Kit said in her straightforward way. "I know about us being evicted. I figured you went to Uncle Hendrick to ask for money." "And," Kit repeated, "he said no, didn't he?" I'm sorry, Kit," Mother said sadly. "It's not fair for a child to have to worry about such things." She sighed. "But you're right. Uncle Hendrick believes that money must be earned by hard work, not given away. He says we've lived beyond our means. He thinks it was foolish of us to buy this big house in the first place, and would be throwing away good money after bad to help us keep it. If we are evicted, he wants us to move in with him." Kit sat bolt upright. "Oh no," she said. "We'd hate that. All the boarders would leave. It'd be awful." Mother smiled a sad smile. "We may not have a choice," she said, "and we may lose the boarders anyway. At this point, we don't have enough money to even pay the electric bill. I don't think we can ask the boarders to stay if our electricity is cut off and we don't have any lights." Kit couldn't bear to see Mother look so defeated. "I'll find a way to help, Mother," she said. "I promise I will. I'll find a way to make money." "Well," said Mother, "there is a way you can help, though I don't think it'll make any money." "What is it?" asked Kit. "Uncle Hendrick says he's ill," said Mother. I think he's just lonely and fretful. But he wants me to come back tomorrow and every day until he feels better. I'm so busy here, I don't see how I can." Would you do it? You could go tomorrow, and then next week you can go after school. During your Christmas vacation, you could go for a few hours every day. He needs someone to keep him company and do errands and walk his dog." Kit's heart sank. Uncle Hendrick's old black Scotty dog, Inky, was the meanest, most hateful dog in Cincinnati. He was even meaner than Uncle Hendrick. I'm surprised somebody who prides themselves on being so... whatever, named their dog Inky. Anyway. And Uncle Hendrick was exactly like Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol before the ghosts visited him and scared him into being nice. "I know it's a lot to ask," said Mother, "but it would be a great help to me." "I'll do it," said Kit. This was her chance to help. Mother hugged Kit. "That's my girl," she said, and now her smile was real. "Thank you, Uncle Hendrick knows we don't have a car anymore. He gave me a nickel for the streetcar. I'll give it to you tomorrow. Now don't read too long. You need to rest. Good night." "Good night," said Kit. Mother went downstairs. Kit had read only a few pages when Brother Charlie appeared. "Hi," he said. "Mother told me what you're doing. I think you could use this." He tossed an old tennis ball to Kit. "What's this for?" she asked as she caught it. "It's for Stinky Inky to fetch," said Charlie. "Throw it really, really far." Kit grinned. "Thanks, Charlie," she said. Charlie grinned too. "You're welcome," he said. "Good night, Squirt." "Good night, Charlie," said Kit. She switched off her light and lay in the dark thinking, maybe Uncle Hendricks won't be so bad after all. But it was bad. In fact, it was terrible. The first thing that happened was that Kit missed the streetcar. She had to run all the way to Uncle Hendrick's house because she was supposed to be there promptly at noon, and Uncle Hendrick was a stickler for time. Luckily, Kit was a fast runner, but it was very cold, and Kit's nose was red and her hair was blown in every which way by the time she got to Uncle Hendrick's door. She tried to catch her breath and straighten herself up a little, but Inky was barking wildly and scrambling his claws against the other side of the door, so Uncle Hendrick opened it before she even knocked. That was the next bad thing. "What are you doing here?" he bellowed over Inky's yakking. "Mother's too busy," Kit bellowed back, "so I'm here instead." "I don't want you," said Uncle Hendrick. "Go away." Inky growled as if to echo Uncle Hendrick, and then launched into another frenzy of barking. Kit didn't budge. She promised Mother that she would help. It would take more than Uncle Hendrick's bluster and Inky's snarls to discourage her. "Well, you're here, so you might as well stay," said Uncle Hendrick. "Hurry up, come in. Don't stand there like a fool and let the heat out. It costs good money." Kit stepped inside and he shut the door behind her. If your family had paid more attention to things like how heat costs, you wouldn't be in the state you are now, he scolded. Come with me. Yes, sir, said Kit. Now that the door was shut, she realized how dark it was inside Uncle Hendrick's house. The darkness seemed old somehow, and permanent, as if it had been there a long time and always would be there. Kit followed Uncle Hendrick and Inky upstairs to Uncle Hendrick's huge room. He sat down in the most comfortable chair by the coal fire and put a blanket over his knees. Inky jumped up into the other chair by the fire. He watched Kit's every move with his sharp, unfriendly black eyes. Kit went to Uncle Hendrick to give him the nickel she hadn't used. What's that? He snapped, peering at the coin. It's the nickel you gave Mother for the streetcar. Said Kit. I didn't use it. I missed the streetcar. So, I don't care if you came on a winged chariot, Uncle Hendrick said, impatiently brushing her hand away. You got here on time. That's all that matters. You mean I can keep the nickel? Asked Kit. Yes, barked Uncle Hendrick, sounding a lot like Inky. Now stop jabbering. Hand me my book. Not the red one, the brown one. And how am I supposed to read it? Hand me my eyeglasses too, and be quick about it. And that's how it went all afternoon. Uncle Hendrick sat in his chair and ordered Kit downstairs to make him a cup of tea. When she brought it up, he ordered her downstairs again for milk and sugar. He wanted her to open the drapes and then close them again to move his chair closer to the fire, then farther away. He wanted his medicine. He wanted the newspaper. He wanted a pen and ink and writing paper, then a stamp. It seemed to Kit that for an old man who was supposed to be sick, Uncle Hendrick certainly had plenty of energy for bossing her around and pointing out what she was doing wrong, which was everything. She filled the teacup too full and sloshed the tea in the saucer. She wobbled the spoon, and then she poured the medicine into it. She pulled too hard on the cord and closed the drapes, but didn't push hard enough when moving his chair. She talked too fast and walked too slow. There was no pleasing Uncle Hendrick. Inky was just as bad. When it was time for his walk, Kit put her coat back on. She clapped Inky's leash on his collar. Come, Inky, she said. Inky didn't move. He growled deep in his throat and bared his teeth at her. You'll have to carry him, said Uncle Hendrick. He doesn't like walking down the stairs. Kit hoisted the fat old dog in her arms and carried him down the stairs out the door. Once his feet hit the sidewalk, Inky took off. He straightened on the leash, practically pulling Kit's arm out of its socket. When they got to the ballpark, Kit bent down to show Inky the tennis ball. Look, Inky, she said. Then she threw the ball as hard as she could. Go get it, Inky, she said. But Inky just sniffed as if to say, why should I? He lowered himself to the grass and refused to move. Kit had to fetch the ball herself and then dragged Inky back to Uncle Hendrick's house and carry him upstairs. You, she hissed as she set him down, are a horrible dog. Inky's black eyes glittered. He looked pleased with himself. He jumped into his chair and promptly went to sleep. Uncle Hendrick was asleep too, so Kit had to sit perfectly still and wait for him to wake up. She amused herself by thinking of words to describe Uncle Hendrick and Inky. They're both grouchy and grumpy, she thought. They're crabby, cranky, critical, and cross. When, at last, Uncle Hendrick woke up, he announced that it was time for Kit to go home. Kit put on her coat, which was now covered with Inky's black hair. Goodbye, she said to Uncle Hendrick. See you tomorrow, said Uncle Hendrick. He didn't sound pleased or displeased. He reached into the pocket and pulled out 2 nickels. Here, he said, one for the streetcar home and one for the streetcar back tomorrow. But, Kit began to say, take them and go, ordered Uncle Hendrick. So she did. When she closed the door behind her, Kit took a deep breath. The cold, clean winter air felt wonderful on her cheeks. It cleared that stuffy, medicine-y, doggy smell of Uncle Hendrick's house out of her nose. As Kit walked to the streetcar, she had an idea. I'll walk home, she thought. Uncle Hendrick said he didn't care if I used the nickels for the streetcar or not. I won't use them. I'll save them and give them to Mother to help pay the electric bill. That will be my Christmas surprise for her. The thought cheered Kit. She turned up her collar and started the long walk home with determined steps. It was awfully cold, and the walk was all uphill. By the time Kit got to her own house, she was tired and cold to the bone. She was hungry, too. It was disheartening to know she had missed Sunday dinner and there would only be crackers and milk for supper. When Kit opened the front door, she was surprised to see Ruthie sitting at the bottom step in the front hall. Ruthie had a big white box on her lap. Her face was bright and eager. She looked as if she was struggling to hold up a surprise. and was about to burst. "Hi," she said. "I thought you'd never get here." "Hi," said Kit as she wearily hung up her coat. "I don't think we can finish our scarf today, Ruthie. I have chores to do." "Oh, I didn't come for that," said Ruthie. She jumped up from behind the stair and thrust the big white box at Kit. "Here," she said, "this is for you." Ruthie was so excited she danced around Kit impatiently as Kit knelt down to open the box. "Wait till you see. Now everything will be okay." Kit lifted the lid of the box. Inside she saw a bright red dress. She took it out and held it up, puzzled. "But this is your dress, Ruthie," she said at last. It was," said Ruthie, "but it's my last year's Christmas dress. It doesn't fit me anymore. I'm getting a new one, so I'm giving this one to you." The bright red dress was so red it seemed to make Kit's hands warm just to hold it. Kit felt her face warm too, but the heat came the burning sting of embarrassment. She was humiliated, not delighted by Ruthie's hand-me-down present. "Now Ruthie thinks of me as a poor, pitiful beggar girl," she thought. Kit swallowed. "Thanks," she managed to say politely. She tried very hard to smile. "That's not all," Ruthie blurbed. "Look in the pockets, even better." Kit reached into the pocket of the dress and pulled out 4 tickets to the ballet. There was an invitation in Ruthie's handwriting that said, "Mrs. Smithens and Ruthie Smithens cordially invite Mrs. Kitteridge and Kit Kitteridge to a fancy tea at Shilito's restaurant on December 26th after the ballet." "See," said Ruthie all alone. "My mother bought the tickets and she'll pay for the tea. Now we can have our special day and you won't have to wear your rick-rack dress." Slowly, Kit slid the invitation and the tickets back into the pocket. She folded the dress neatly and put the lid back on the box. She stood up. "Thank you, Ruthie," she said stiffly, "but your dress is probably too big for me, and my mother and I are going to be busy on December 26th. She handed the big white box to Ruthie. Ruthie looked at it and then Kit. "What do you mean?" she said. "I have a job now," said Kit, "at my Uncle Hendrick's house." "But you could take the day off," said Ruthie. "You could—" "No," interrupted Kit coolly. "I couldn't. It's my responsibility." Ruthie's face looked so sad that Kit softened a bit. "Listen, my mother fixed it for you," said Ruthie, "and I thought you were embarrassed by the rick-rack dress. I thought you hated it." "I do hate it," said Kit, "but at least it's my own. I'd be embarrassed to wear your dress. And it's the same with the tickets and the tea. It would make my mother and me feel like sponges." "Sponges?" asked Ruthie. Her voice sounded strained and tight. "Yes," said Kit. "We'd be ashamed to let your mother pay for us." "Ashamed?" said Ruthie, pink in the face and mad. "I think you should be ashamed of being so selfish. You're only thinking of yourself. What about me? Did you ever stop and think maybe you're ruining my Christmas with your stupid pride? You've got a house full of people, and I'm all alone by just my mother and father. The most fun I ever had is with you. The day you and I spent together after Christmas is a very part of Christmas for me. I thought you liked it. That's why my mother tried to fix this year, but you're too stuck up and stubborn to accept it. We were just trying to help." "I don't want help," said Kit, bristling. "Oh, I know," said Ruthie. "You think you're just like great old Amelia Earhart, flying all by herself without help from anybody." Now Kit was mad too. "At least I'm not so babyish to think I'm a princess like you do," she said, lashing out as mean as snakes. "You're always talking about wishes and wicked ogres and make-believe. You don't know anything that's real. Your father still has a job. You can do whatever you want. You have everything, except you don't have any idea what the world is really like." "Well, now I know what you're really like," said Ruthie. "Mean." "Well, you're spoiled," said Kit. "Oh!" exclaimed Ruthie angrily. She grabbed her coat and went to the door. "Well, I don't think we're friends anymore." "Good," said Kit. "Goodbye," said Ruthie. Then she left, closing the door firmly behind her. Kit stared at the door for a second, then ran as fast as she could up the stairs to her room. She flung herself face down on her bed. "Oh, how could everything be so horrible? It wasn't fair. Her family had lost so much since Dad had lost his job. Not just money. They lost their feeling of being safe. Their trust that things would work out for the best. They were probably going to lose their home. And now I've lost the most important thing of all," thought Kit, "my best friend." Kit buried her face in the pillow and cried. And that's the end of that chapter. See you later.